Negligent misrepresentation occurs when someone makes a false statement without reasonable grounds to believe it is true, causing harm to another party who relies on that information. This legal issue affects countless transactions every day, from home purchases to business deals. Unlike fraudulent misrepresentation, which involves intentional deception, negligent misrepresentation does not require intent to deceive. The person making the statement simply failed to verify its accuracy before presenting it as fact. This places it between innocent misrepresentation, where there is no negligence, and fraudulent misrepresentation, which involves deliberate deception. To establish a claim of negligent misrepresentation, 5 key elements must typically be proven. First, a false statement of fact was made. Second, the person making the statement had no reasonable basis to believe it was true. Third, the statement was made with the intention that others would rely on it. Fourth, someone actually did rely on the false information. And fifth, this reliance caused financial or other harm. Consider this example in real estate. A seller tells a potential buyer that a house is in a peaceful neighborhood. However, major construction is underway next door, creating significant noise. If the seller made this claim without verifying the actual conditions, this could constitute negligent misrepresentation. Another common scenario occurs in business transactions. Imagine a company that misstates its financial records during merger negotiations. The acquiring company relies on these statements to determine the value of the business. When the true financial situation is discovered after the deal, the buyer has suffered harm due to negligent misrepresentation. Financial advisors can also be liable when they provide investment advice without proper verification. If an advisor describes an investment as low risk without conducting adequate research, and a client loses money after following this advice, the advisor may be held responsible. The legal consequences for negligent misrepresentation are primarily civil rather than criminal. Courts typically offer 2 main remedies. The first is rescission, which treats the transaction as if it never happened, returning both parties to their original positions. The second is monetary damages to compensate for losses resulting from reliance on the false statement. These consequences differ from those for fraudulent misrepresentation, which can include punitive damages and sometimes even criminal penalties. The distinction lies in the intent behind the misrepresentation. Businesses and professionals can take several steps to avoid liability for negligent misrepresentation. Always verify information before presenting it as fact, especially in important transactions. Use clear disclaimers when information is based on estimates or requires further verification. Document all representations made during negotiations to prevent later disputes, and when in doubt, consult with legal professionals before making significant contractual representations. Certain professionals face a heightened duty of care regarding the accuracy of their statements. Real estate agents, financial advisors, and attorneys must be particularly diligent in verifying information they provide to clients. Understanding negligent misrepresentation is essential for both businesses and consumers. For businesses, it highlights the importance of due diligence and accurate communication. For consumers, it provides legal recourse when harm results from relying on carelessly made false statements. In either case, recognizing the elements and consequences of negligent misrepresentation can help prevent costly legal disputes and protect important transactions.